getting ready to go to Ireland for a tattoo festival that has the theme of reclaiming the swastika because it's been an ancient symbol around the world for so many centuries. Yeah. Hi, come on in. Here's a drum that I painted with, and it's a sacred symbol to me, and it's come to me in many, many dreams. Here's a painting with the baby king, and the swastika is, for me, the symbol of the source of life. This is a series of cartoons that I did on the swastika to try and lighten the image up, you know. Here, this is called Heap Good Smoke, and it shows Indians smoking swastikas. Well, you know, almost all the native Indians in North America use the swastika as a good luck sign and their sacred symbol. And here is the idea of the Oriental woman scrubbing the swastika, because over in the Orient, the Hindus and the Buddhists and the Jains and the Parsis and many, many Oriental religions, it's still being used as their sacred symbol, and that'll never change. This shows me during my mystical awakening, where my spirit rose up into this cosmic light, and it this is a painting that shows my spirit during my awakening. My spirit rose up into this cosmic light that was the source of everything, and in my dreams later, it was always represented by a swastika, and I was, you know, kind of scared of that because, you know, my mother was Polish and her sister was in Auschwitz, and so I had all that baggage about the swastika and the Nazis and everything, and it was kind of scary for me to accept the fact that this was now my sacred symbol, and I had to do something about it. So. The series of cartoons shows a humorous side to the whole thing. Here's poor old Elizabeth Fly, loves the swastika on the sly. The waitress from Swastika Cafe. These all came to me in dreams. And then over here there's swastika perfume. Just to give a lighter side to the whole subject. It has definitely taken a real hit with the Nazi atrocities in the name of that symbol, and you know, this tattoo convention in Ireland is about restoring the swastika to its sacred purposes, and there's thousands of people that are getting on to this as a cause, as a just cause. I went to India last year, and I bought this thing, and I wondered, what the heck is this strange pocket? And what it is you see, here's your Brahma bull with its hump. Now the hump goes in here. You throw that on your Brahma bull, and you have an instant parade float. So they do that on their special occasions. Anyhow, it was a wonderful piece. And this is my little bathroom. I call it the Shrine of the Porcelain Bull. Anyhow, I love collecting kitschy little religious objects, and I've gathered swastikas from many, many cultures. There's some from Bali, there's some from India, there's some from Tibet, and there's you know, the god Ganesha, who has an elephant's head. His main symbol is the swastika. The Buddhists have their swastika. A Buddha is usually shown with a swastika over his heart. And I love the religious objects from various cultures.
Okay, Dominic, this is information is for you. I've been trying a couple different filters. I've got inside light and outside light, and so I'm trying to get the best color match with the different light sources. So I'm redoing some of this stuff on a different filter, and so this is for your information. And can you stand by, Manny? And
yeah, so I went to India about 1.5 years ago, and I found this piece with beautiful swastikas on it, and I didn't know what it was. And then there's this weird piece, and it turns out it's kind of a pocket. You put this over the hump on your Brahma bull, like here, you see, and you have an instant parade float. You can put your Brahma bull in a religious festival and march him down the street for a celebratory religious day, you know. That was great. This is my little bathroom that I call the Shrine of the Porcelain Bowl. I love collecting, you know, kitschy religious objects. And I've got, you know, Buddhist and Hindu and Christian and objects from so many different cultures. This is the head of Ganesha, who is the son of Shiva, and he's got an elephant's head. There's a long story about it, but he's called the remover of obstacles, and Hindus pray to Ganesha when they have difficulty with something and they want him to open the way for them. And of course the swastika is one of his main symbols. This one up here is one that I picked up in India on my recent trip.
so start that one over again, please.
This is one from India here. I picked that one up on my recent trip. And up above over here is one from the Isle of Bali. Bali has a Hindu, a kind of a variation on the Hindu religion, and there are many, many, many swastikas in Bali. Down here is another version of Ganesha with the swastika. And then over here is, there's a Mexican picture frame from Mexico, all done in mirrors. And right behind it is an embroidered, it's kind of an altarcloth from Tibetan Buddhism. This is a little piece from India that, you know, I have friends that travel the world and they send me stuff. I'll tell you, there's hardly a culture in this world that hasn't used the swastika. It's got such a widespread, and this is all suppressed information. It's taboo information, and I'm bringing it out, and sometimes I take a lot of heat for it. This is the Shrine of the Porcelain Bowl. My friends go in this bathroom and sometimes they don't come out for a long time because they're in here meditating. Swastika is one of the most sacred, universal sacred symbols in the world. This one I picked up in India too, and it's got Ganesha in the middle of the swastika, and then this is the symbol for Om. And Om is their sound of the kind of unmanifest sacredness of creation. This is the sound that begins every mantra, is Om. And the swastika is considered the most supreme blessing, the most auspicious blessing that you can imagine. Okay. Yeah, this piece here, there's a story. You know, when I first started doing the swastikas, I had Jewish friends that were quite upset with me, and I thought I would do this as a way of showing the swastika as a peaceful symbol, showing the swastika as a sacred symbol, and giving it a certain gentleness. And so I called this gentle swastika. Okay, I made this because I had Jewish friends, and when I first started using swastikas, they were quite upset, and you know, there was an impact on them because of what they're carrying from the Second World War, and so I put all these kind of Walt Disney doves inside the symbol, because what I was talking about is a sacred swastika, a gentle swastika, and that's actually the name of this piece, Gentle Swastika, because it needed to be seen in a different point of view, in a different context. I put these doves of peace in this swastika to take the sting out of the symbol that, like most people, are carrying a lot of the Second World War around with them, and from their loss of their relatives and the bad things that happened in 1945. And so these little doves of peace are meant to say, hey, this is the sacred swastika. This painting is called The Burning Man and the Sow Goddess, and it's about the male and the female principles, which have been part of every culture, every religion. There's been the idea of the masculine and the feminine aspects of nature. And on the left side, you'll see the little Kokopelli from the southwestern Indians in the USA. And, you know, originally he always had an erection until the missionaries and priests showed up, and suddenly Kokopelli had no erection anymore. But he was about the masculine principle, about fertility, about, you know, regeneration. And the sow goddess, like the goddesses all over Europe and places like that, they are always associated with the swastika, and that's why there's the swastikas in the four corners. And the goddess was the source of life and mystery and rebirth. And so this is kind of a Beltane painting. In the old Celtic pagan ideas, Beltane was a time in the spring that was about fertility and joining the king and the queen, or the male and the female. Okay, I got a friend of mine to, I painted all the walls here with some of my art in the bathroom upstairs, and I got a friend to come and do, and I got a friend to come and do tiles on the floor, and he did a beautiful job, pink and green tiles. If you go in these ancient homes, not ancient, but you know, Victorian, Edwardian homes, they often have tiled floors with swastikas. They have fireplaces with swastikas. They used to mark it on the chimney because it was considered a blessing for the home. And you know, many people have destroyed these artifacts. Many public buildings have had them removed because of the political correctness. And I'm saying, hey, you know what? This is great. This is a beautiful thing, and I honor this, the sacredness of this sign. I want to see it restored. Yeah, and I had this stained glass window. I designed it, and I had a couple of local women who were into stained glass put this together for me, and they did a beautiful job. This was the central image there is the fact that all of us come into this world and then we return to the source. And this going up into the light in the source and melting back into the sacred. And then, who knows, maybe coming back and having other lifetimes. I don't know about that part. All I know is that my spirit has experienced the return to that source, and that's what the swastikas are all about. And I've got the green swastikas in the corners of the window. And that was a traditional thing in the old cathedrals in the British Isles. They called it the Philfoot. That was their name for it. And there's arguments as to whether it means filling the foot of the window or where the name came from, but I designed this window, and it's based on the experience of returning to the source, which is something that mystics and saints and seers, yogis have done for many, many centuries, and returning into the place where the opposites unite, and that's the swastika in the corners is about it was called the Philfoot in the ancient cathedral windows in the British Isles, at least. This was a very common theme, was swastikas in the four corners. And this is in my upstairs hallway. Here's a cap from the Canyon City Swastikas. It was 1917 in Colorado, and that was part of their baseball uniform.
Okay.
This cap is from a baseball team in the US of A, the Canyon City Swastikas in 1917 in Colorado. This was part of their uniform. And you know, it had a history of being used as a sports thing, because there's a hockey team here from Edmonton. There was another one from Fernie, BC, but this was 1916, girls hockey team in Edmonton. Yeah, this hockey team is from Edmonton, Alberta. And when I first started with the Swastika thing, a friend of mine came to me and said, "Oh, my grandmother was on this hockey team." So she's one of these lovely looking girls in 1916, and of course that predates the Second World War by quite a bit. And it had this beautiful connotation as the lucky sign. And there was actually 3 Swastika hockey teams in Canada. One in Fernie, BC, one in Edmonton, and one was a men's team in Windsor, Nova Scotia. And, you know, I've got about 3 of these Navajo rugs in my collection. The natives of North America, I'd say a good percentage of them used the swastika. They called it the luck. It was also a symbol for them of the migrations of the tribes. It was a symbol for the origin of life. And in about 1941, they gave up on their symbol because they wanted to show solidarity against the Nazis, and some of the tribes were upset that they had done that. And right now I know for a fact that some of the tribes are reclaiming their swastika. I started collecting as much as I could, of course, and I ran into these beautiful Navajo rugs. I found out that most of the natives of North America used the swastika as their lucky sign, and it was all about the origin of life and the migrations of the tribes and the 4 directions, and some of them are trying to reclaim it now. Back in 1941, they gave up on the swastika because of their, they wanted to show solidarity against Hitler, so they gave up on it, and many of them were quite upset by that. Okay, there's rows of swastikas on this saddle, and it was, you know, it was taken by the cowboys who took it from the Indians as a lucky sign, and yeah. Should I have the hat on? Keep the hat on? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. And
This is a saddle from about 1910, and it's a tiny little saddle, and I understand that the reason for that is because most of the cowboys were the 12-year-old farm boys who were tiny, and this saddle has rows and rows of swastikas on it, and friends of mine went to the dump one day and found it just lying in the dump. So they brought it to me, and I had a saddle maker restore it and fix it up a little bit. Cowboys really took the swastika and ran with it and put it on their chaps and on their conchos and on their various paraphernalia. Okay, we don't need to do all of this stuff. Like there's, you know, there's the cracker can and there's the basket, and you know, there's other things in this room, but I'm a lucky guy because I've got thousands of friends around the world who are now hunting for the collection of the, you know, to help my collection of the ancient, historic swastikas that were used, and some of them not so ancient. A lot of things were used on products during the 1910s and 1920s. So in these drawers, I've got, you know, this is the Boy Scouts badge of thanks that was given to people that helped the Boy Scouts. And here's jewelry from the turn of the century. There's a bracelet from Sears catalog. There's a watch fob. Here's a gold locket. And ladies had these hat pins, and they stuck them on with big, you know, the big hats. They had these enormous big hats. Here's various ladies' jewelry. This is mostly Navajo and various Indian souvenir spoons that they sold to tourists with swastikas on them, bracelets with swastikas. Here's a nice one. And these beautiful little demitasse spoons. This is the 45th Infantry Division from the U.S. Army, and that was their belt buckle. Here's a whole set of poker chips from the USA Playing Card Company, and Coca-Cola made this watch fob in 1925. It says, "Drink Coke, 5 cents in bottles." Ladies' hair barrette. Various things from India and China. This was a car, the Crit, which from 1907 to 1916 was made in Detroit. Shaving brush, Swastika cigarettes. And this was Swastika Coal Company from New Mexico. And here's a whole drawer full of native Indian beadwork. These are little turtles. And North America was called Turtle Island. Whether that's a child's toy, it was called a fetish when I bought it, but you know, one man's fetish is another man's toy, I think. Another turtle. Little medicine bag. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Anyhow, I've got a collection that spans the globe. There's hardly a culture that hasn't used the swastika. And yet, in today's mindset, people think that it's the most horrible symbol, at least people in the West, in the Western world. Please stand by. Yeah, I'm getting very excited about going to Ireland, and I'm going to be guest speaker at a tattoo convention, which the whole theme of is reclaiming the swastika. I'm going to be interviewed for a documentary on the reclaiming, well, the possibility of reclaiming. It's going to cover all the angles of various people's opinions, and, you know, Hindus, Buddhists, pagans, all the people that have traditionally used the swastika. And I'm all excited about that because I get to do a slideshow presentation of my collection and talk about my reasons, my visions of the spiritual awakening and what the swastika really, truly, truly meant. And it's going to be, I'm very, very much, and Guinness. I have to drink a Guinness when I get there. Yeah, and I'm getting all excited about going to Ireland. There's going to be a tattoo convention with the theme of restoring the swastika, reclaiming the swastika. I'll be interviewed for a documentary on the swastika. I'll be guest speaker. I'll do a slideshow and talk to people about my reasons, the visions, the dreams that told me that it was a sacred sign and needed to be redeemed, and some of the trials and tribulations that I've had along the way, because a lot of people just think I'm a lunatic for taking this subject on. I think it's spoiled my art career, and you know, there's been a price. There's definitely been a price, but it's something I believe in very much, and it's spreading now in a way that I never would have expected. So I'm very excited about going over there. Well, you know, the one thing I never would have expected was the tattoo world. I got tattooed because of my dreams and giving me the vision, and I never ever expected to be part of the tattoo world. Really wasn't in my life, and now all of a sudden there's these amazing tattoo artists that are taking the symbol and tattooing it on people, and it's spreading through the tattoo world like in an amazing way. So I'm all excited about getting over there and meeting these people who are becoming serious friends to the reclamation of a symbol that I believe needs to be restored.